Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace to the gang. Welcome back to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy BP alongside the Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Coming to you from Bang Bang Fitness Center here in Harrisburg, PA. And today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is the owner of ManeClass Salon, the first natural hair salon in downtown Harrisburg's Strawberry Square. Yeah. She's also the founder and the owner of Texture Celebration Workshops, LLC, which is a workshop dedicated to helping the young ladies become more having better self-esteem, you know what I'm saying, and through proper hair care and education. She's also the founder and the owner of Cream of the Crop, which is a reading and listening.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, comprehension workshop for the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Shana Robertha. Hey,
Miss Shana.
Miss Shana. But before we get into this, we have to quick do a vibe check. Bishop, how you feeling?
I'm feeling like I am adding on.
Okay,
Every day I'm adding on something new.
I like he be coming over. I like it though. Yeah, I like him adding on
something new.
There we go. Miss Shana, how you
I
feeling?
like the vibe check. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Checking the vibe, checking the temperature
You
first.
gotta get the vibe check.
I
right.
like it. That's where I'm at.
There we go.
She likes it.
We winning. She like it. We winning. Let's go.
Oh, you know it's her first time.
It is.
See?
It's gonna be a good
How
time.
you feel, brother?
Hey, I'm feeling in control.
Okay,
You feel
like
me?
Janet.
In control.
We'll take it.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good energy.
Yeah, in control.
So this is Miss Shana's first podcast.
First podcast.
Yes.
Let's go.
So what we do, we like to learn about you. And we got a couple of questions as we learn about all the wonderful things you do. I first want to say I thank you for coming on here, and that
Thank you.
I want to say I honor you.
Oh,
That's what I do.
I
I
appreciate
honor
that.
work when I see. I'm a man of measurement, and when I see things and I watch from afar, and just the energy and the vibe that you put out, and just the dominance of how you're going to do a set thing, and you stick to that, and I admire that quality when you set forth, and then you even break down why you came to the decision of how this thing is going to be ran, and I'll be like, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I appreciate being seen.
Yes, I respect when people set they just set
bar.
how it's
Yeah,
gonna
they
go.
set they bar,
And I like that when it comes to business, and I have watched you from afar, so to say. My daughter was in your workshop, and she has learned a lot because she's still actively doing what she has learned
Shana
and perfecting
told me,
that. So that's definitely big, because that has made her, that gave her a lane. So I appreciate that. So that's definitely big. You gave my daughter inspiration and a lane. So
that means a lot to me.
Yes, it is. I definitely appreciate that. So we just want you to tell the listeners who don't know you, and just give them an introduction of Miss Shana.
Well, of course, I'm the owner of ManeClass Salon. And behind the chair, as a natural hairstylist, I watched a lot of black and brown women struggle with looking at themselves in the mirror. They struggle with appreciating their hair in its natural form. And I found myself constantly trying to encourage them to appreciate their hair, giving them many, many compliments. But it sort of started and stopped in my salon, because once they left and came back, we had to start all over again.
Yes.
So I realized that it was probably something that I could address at a younger age. Because once you're a grown woman, you're still going to keep hearing those voices in your head, giving you the wrong adjectives about your hair and who you are and what you look like, and where you stand on the beauty scale. So if you're just with me for an hour or two, I can't change that. So that's the reason I started doing the Texture Celebration workshops, where I teach black and brown girls how to choose products, how to style their own hair, the right words to use. When describing their hair. I teach them boundaries, things people should say to you about your hair, things they shouldn't say, things you should say, things you shouldn't say. And just from that, I fell into Cream of the Crop, reading and listening comprehension, because when you're around kids enough, they tell you what they need.
Right, absolutely.
Dealing with some of my child clients, I saw some of them struggle with if their parents gave them money to give to me. They were giving me too much money. And it was just certain things I wanted to tap into because I understand that kids find their confidence when they know who they are, when they're good at something, when they're fed into and poured into. And reading and communication is a big one. If they can express themselves, they'll find the confidence. And I just want our kids to be confident.
All right.
It helps the decisions they make for themselves.
Yes, it does.
It helps them decide how people should treat them, how they should treat others, where they're headed in life.
Right.
So I want our kids to be great.
I need to know how we got here.
I love it. Yeah, that's dope.
You got us here. I need to know how we got. So was this something that you, like, was it you had to do your own hair, or was it something that you, like, was the hands just gifted? You just started playing with the baby dolls and you was like, like, what was it?
I remember, and this is actually a story that I only shared with my mother, but I had an aunt and she would braid our hair.
Okay.
And I remember her teaching my cousins how to braid. And as soon as because I was so interested, and as soon as I came on the scene, like, oh, teach me too, it was like, no, we're done. We're not doing it no more. Like, like I wasn't invited or I wasn't welcome. So I was like, what? First of all, I got Barbies at the crib. I would teach myself. So that's what I did. I had a My Little Pony with the long tail. And I sat there in my sister's room for hours and I taught myself to braid. From there, whenever I would go to the salons, my mom would always call me like, do you like your hair? And I'll be like, it's all right. They gave me the foundation, but when I come home, I'll take care of it. And I would be in the mirror for hours taking care of my own hair. And then from that and my family having locks, doing everybody's locks in my family, I just jumped in the hair.
Okay.
You were self-taught.
Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I need to know, so so how did the business structure come about? How was that?
Just having, I feel like, an energy bigger than a cubicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you was in the cubicle?
I was. I worked for the Commonwealth for 11 years.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. And so, and I did the promotions and everything, but I was never okay with somebody telling me who to be.
Right.
And I was never okay with people around me getting away with stuff that I didn't believe in.
Right.
So I wanted to have my own lane. I wanted to guide myself. I wanted to be able to share who I was with people instead of having to just kind of contain myself in a cubicle. It wasn't for me.
So were you doing hair while you were still working there?
I was doing hair while I was in college.
Okay. How was that? You were smacking them?
Well, I wasn't getting paid. I was doing my friend's hair for free.
Okay.
Right? And I went to Lincoln University. We was just having a good time.
I bet. Lincoln was lit. I ain't never go there, but I was up there.
I mean, I was up there too. But
continue. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, and I did it because we were going out.
Right.
And so, we did that. And then, of course, while I was working for the Commonwealth, I was also part-time stylist at JCPenney Salon.
Okay.
So from there, the goal became open my own salon. But
Right.
my clientele grew so rapidly that I just retired early and started my own business.
So in JCPenney's, you was doing all types of hair.
I wasn't doing locks. I couldn't stand it.
So
Suddenly, just listen. When God has a plan,
that's it.
You just follow it, right? And now it's my heart. My clientele is 82% locks.
Okay.
So. I started doing, look at me all comfortable, y'all.
Let's go. Let's go.
Listen, I was so nervous. Okay, so.
But I told you, I said we wanted everything. You know what I mean?
Right. So I was doing cuts and curls and relaxers.
Okay.
But of course I don't believe in relaxers, but that's what I was doing.
So you was doing Sally's hair too?
I was. That in
Sally's
JCPenney, you're getting Becky Sally.
Yeah. I know. So you know how to dab on all these.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I got a little rusty at it because I've been in natural hair so long. Right. I feel like I would struggle with non-textured hair right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at the time, you did it all.
I did, because that was where the money was. You know what I mean? You turned nobody down.
Right.
So
you said you retired from the job?
From the Commonwealth after 11 years.
So you knew that was a step? You knew it was time?
I did, and I didn't even know how. I didn't know when. I didn't have any dates. I just it was time, and honestly I feel like that time of my life was just a fog because I was being pushed by a greater being.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
So because some people miss when they're being pushed. So how was that feeling? Because I believe that it makes you nervous, so to say. It's like you know what you need to do, but then you're afraid, and then you're caught between being afraid and just doing it because I had to leave my job, and I knew that it was sink or swim. So when it's that time. I remember being antsy, like, hey, this is my last day. I'm going, like this is it. Like, and I knew I wasn't. You can't come back. So you told yourself there's no turning back. How was that?
Like I said, it's a fog for me that time in my life because I remember showing up and parking in the parking lot of my job and just breaking out into tears for no reason. Like I couldn't say why, but it was just time.
Right. It was definitely time.
It was time. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Oh, so it's still kind of fresh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 6 years is still fresh.
Yeah.
So you relocated twice since in them 6 years.
Well, I moved my salon just once.
Okay. So, but you got the first one and then you.
Right, and so I've been at this new place now since October.
Okay. So we're gonna get into the new place. So you had. How was that? Did you feel like you needed to learn something about business, or was it just like I'm going?
Well, see, when I worked for the Commonwealth, I was in customer service, and then I became, right before I retired, I was an auditor because the Commonwealth distributes funds to a lot of businesses for the handicapped. And so I was able to experience hands-on a lot of different areas of business. When I wasn't doing that, because I don't know if you know, but when you work for the Commonwealth, honey, you do everything and you get paid for nothing. Right? You have to wear a lot of hats. So I was able to be exposed to a lot of different aspects of business based on what I did. I was helping small businesses get registered to do business with the Commonwealth through different contracts and stuff. So that was helpful.
You had behind the scenes.
Right. And then it just made sense as it started happening.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So was it, how did you build the clientele base? How did that go?
That's something that I really am thankful for, being exposed to how to be an extrovert as an introvert. When I went to JCPenney, they give you business cards and they're like, go out there. Because people are there shopping. So they're like, go out there and talk to people, tell them what you do. And I was on that beat and I saw that it was working, and then it came like second nature.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Dope.
Yeah, that's real awesome.
That's dope.
So you said you had to be an extrovert while being an introvert.
Right. Yeah.
How hard is that?
Oh.
Because you got to get past yourself sometimes, and we all know it's sometimes hard to get past ourselves. So how did you work yourself through that?
Seeing the results.
Okay.
Yep. And then it was such a competitive work environment because as a new stylist in JCPenney, all the new clientele came to you, but as soon as another new stylist came, then you were just stuck with your clientele. Because the new clients were for the new stylists. So it was, you're not going to make any money if you don't have your own clientele. And I'm very grateful for my sisters, because once one of them find out that there's a sister in JCPenney Salon, they all know. So that's why I was able to retire sooner than I anticipated as well, because my clientele base grew just off of word of mouth.
Who's coming with me?
Right.
Do you still use that tactic now? I mean, I know you probably don't have to use it as much now, but like when you first got started, were you still out there like, hey, come check me out? I
did, yep. I had the flyers made. I was putting them in barbershops, things like that, but I don't anymore.
You don't need to now.
Amen.
Amen, right. Absolutely.
So I seen you put that it was the first natural hair salon in Strawberry Square. Is that like hitting word for black?
Yes.
I know it. I was reading that. I said, she made.
I wanted to say that, but I was like, I'm going by what she put.
Made it phonetically correct. I was like, it's the first black one.
First natural,
First black hair salon in Strawberry.
But that's an amazing accomplishment in itself, because we know how it worked out here amongst these folks. You know what I mean? So
I know.
How was that experience?
I love the place.
Okay.
I wouldn't trade it. I'm more comfortable here than I was at my original salon.
Okay.
On 3rd Street. There are things that you still have to in 2023 combat as a black business owner, especially as a renter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they have their entire staffing unit that you have to maneuver through, who are not necessarily familiar with the way that you operate.
Okay.
You know. So I'm dealing with that, but the good thing is that they're okay with me being an introvert.
Okay.
Good.
Let me say that.
Yeah. They let you do your thing and leave you alone.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or they want to rub. Like, explain a little. I need a little clarity. I need a little clarity. I'm on the fence. So
Yeah.
I'd rather ask when I don't know. So.
Like I said, I feel like, and this is just my opinion, I feel like non-black business owners operate on a much friendlier scale sometimes. And that's just not the way that I move. I'm friendlier with my clientele, with the people who I'm doing direct business with. But they are the type that's like, let's do lunch. And
they want to be a club. They want to be a gang. And
they want to hang out all the time.
Black woman there. We got to bring her in.
And especially when you're the only one.
Yes.
It's a little uncomfortable because I don't want to be put on a stage.
And
they
want to ask all type of crazy questions.
Right. Because, sometimes people can be really friendly to
in
an ignorant, backhanded kind of way.
Right. Like they just want the
teeth.
Opportunity to pass their place sometimes.
Yes.
I show teeth when they get like, I get it though. I definitely understand. So that way it doesn't put you in any compromising situations that, everybody's not cool with you speaking your mind, especially when it comes to certain things, and people like to fish, and they're not going to be able to handle what comes next.
Because they will definitely ask crazy questions, and when you give them that answer that they're not looking for, they're like, I can't believe you said that to me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to give you history of thyself. Are you ready? First, after I get you this, now you ask me, do you still want to hang?
Right.
Because you got to understand the whole thing if you want to hang.
Absolutely.
We can't hang if you don't understand. So now I need to know where you stand now. We can hang once you understand thyself and know where y'all came from and know the whole, then we good. Because then you will totally understand me and where I come from and the decisions I make and the things I say.
Right.
So I'd rather be upfront with that. Yes, I wanted to ask you, so we have the workshop, which is, so do you run these programs? Do the girls sign up for, do they get both, or is it something ran together? Is it separate how you put the program
Nope,
together?
it's separate. The Texture Celebration Workshop is for girls 8 to 15.
Okay.
I tried not to push to 16 just because sometimes they're not that bendable. But I did want to try to go as old as I could because some girls do want to go to cosmetology school, and I want them to have that hands-on experience with real human hair.
Yes.
And then, of course, the reading and listening comprehension, that's for boys and girls.
Okay.
But I think that I have put myself out there in such a way that most people believe that everything I teach is for girls.
Right.
But the reading and listening comprehension is for boys and girls. Okay. And that I put in place based on, like I said, my experiences with children in the salon and in Texture Celebration. Right. I kind of saw a need for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're two separate things.
Okay. So you run them, how you run them?
So Sundays is the reading and listening comprehension workshop, and then Wednesdays is the Texture Celebration, and both workshops are free.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So what's the little bit of things that you do or techniques inside of the reading and listening workshop that you focus on?
I know that I had actually dated a guy who struggled with comprehending contracts.
Okay.
And so he would send them to me like, what are they saying, here? And I felt like at a certain age and
Yes.
in a certain position in your life, you always want to make sure you know what's being thrown
Yes.
at you,
Right.
whether it be verbally or
Yes.
written.
Yes.
And so I didn't want our children to be exposed to that.
Right.
So what I do with them is I have them read to me and then tell me what they read.
Okay.
Or I'll read to them so that they're not looking at the book.
Okay.
And then they tell me what I read to them.
Right. Right.
I have them tell me examples of something that we've read in their own mind to show me that they actually retain the
Okay.
concept.
Yes.
I have them tell me the parts of the sentences,
Okay.
what the subjects are, who we're talking about, what
Okay.
happened to this person.
Right.
And then I also have them do mind games.
Okay.
So this course this month we're doing Rubik's Cubes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just so that they're getting their minds exercised and they're not just focused on electronics or looking in the mirror all the time,
Right.
you know, things like that.
Okay.
Anything to get their mind just running.
Okay. Are you a big reader?
I used to be.
You used to be?
I used to read all the time when I was a little girl, and I feel like that's what helped me to propel myself into self-esteem
Okay.
and to appreciate me regardless, was because I was able to pull away and find something that I was really good at.
Right.
You know, so I was a big reader, but then once life started lifing,
Okay.
on my spare time, I'm asleep.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you had, because the way you pour into the children, you had a lot of people pour into you when you were young.
I definitely had a lot of love. I was raised
Right.
with a lot of love. But I always felt like there was just like a silent world that would call me alone.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And I dived into that, and I was always able to be okay with being alone.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
How did you come up with the name?
Which one?
I need the name for cream. Oh, let's start with cream. What is it? Cream of
Cream
the
of the
crop.
crop, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like our babies are the cream of the crop.
Okay.
I feel like we're highly imitated. We're super creative.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So beautiful,
Yes.
so unique. I feel like we're just so special and so dope.
Okay.
And I need for our kids to understand that they belong on that pedestal,
Okay.
you know. And I want them to understand too, from the experience, that when they look at themselves in the mirror, when they hear that little voice in their head, it's something that is reminding them
Right.
of just how super dope they are.
Man, I'm a grown up and you making
Listen,
me feel that
that's
way.
powerful.
Like,
It's
yeah,
powerful.
it works for
I love
grown-ups
to
Yeah,
too.
hear
that's
that.
powerful.
I
Yes, it
love
works
to
for
hear
grown-ups
that.
too, because there's some
Yeah.
grown-ups
Yeah.
that need that. I need
I
that
know.
empowerment.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a
know.
mentor. You got me too.
That's the thing. I'm afraid of adults. Y'all not bendable.
Listen.
That's a
It's
fact, though.
Right.
That is a
Listen,
fact.
I feel like when it comes to that, if you're coming, you're looking for something.
Yeah.
So you have to be
I agree.
bendable. So
Right,
you
right.
wouldn't be coming. Like, it's not. I feel like when it's not, and I tell them, and the thing I do, I tell them it's not forced upon you.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I deal with adults. I deal with adults that's out there in the street. Like, so I let them know, like, this is not forced upon you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sign up and you come into this room, you came because of a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
This already separates you from being different.
Mm-hmm.
So being in here, you made a choice. So now I'm giving you what I got anyway. So it's like, take this gift, or however you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's okay.
Mhm.
So you know, it's just giving it to them. If they want to use it for the adults, like the kids, you'll see the response earlier. You'll
Right.
see the you get to see the work. But with adults, you don't get to see it right away. So it's like planting seeds, and you got to plant them seeds and move on to the next ground. Like, because that's all you can do. Because
Yeah.
if you think you're going to see something from them right away, it's like, you know, you tell somebody something and it clicks for you later, just how you learned at the job. And then when you got into the business, you was like, oh, this is this. Okay, this is how this is. It all made sense. And I feel like with adults, it's just, they need someone to plant the seeds, you know, and they're not going to just grow as fast, because kids grow faster.
Right.
These trees is already, these plants is
Yeah.
already, they already rooted. And the
I
only thing I
agree.
can do is plant something else in there and try to, you know, de-root it and replant it, or that planting stuff my wife be into. But
I know.
it's
Come on,
the
You
Shana.
sound like you
It's-
learning,
Come
though,
on,
dog.
Shana.
I like
it's the
it.
same process. It's the same process. So I feel with adults, you don't ever want to shy away from them because I see the mentor in you. You empower me over. I'm like, right.
Well, I do it when they're in the chair. That's right.
I am beautiful.
I do it in the salon chair,
okay.
you know. But like I was saying before, it's like when they leave the salon and come back, we're starting all over again. You know what I mean? And they'll tell me like, yeah, you know, I appreciate my natural hair and stuff, but then I see them with the lace front 2 days later, you know. And I teach my girls too that there's nothing wrong with accessorizing, as long as you appreciate yourself how you are first.
Absolutely.
If you do anything else, that's okay.
Oh, so yeah, I want to. Am I okay to say this? I feel like lace fronts. Lord, I don't know. Should I say this? I feel like lace fronts come with.
I don't know if I'm saying.
I'm not saying nothing.
I feel like certain. All right, so I'm gonna say it this way, and this is not judging, but I feel like certain hairstyles speak of you. So I feel like, depending where the lace fronts came from and the type of girls that wear lace fronts, is that a fair assessment?
I think we are forced into a protective style world.
Okay.
And I think a lot of hairstyles are considered protective when really they're extremely damaging.
Right.
But some of us, because we weren't exposed to the education and how to choose products and how to manage our hair, will cover it. And there are some girls who really take really good care of their natural hair underneath wigs.
Right.
But they just don't know how to manage their hair.
Okay.
Right? So they'll cover it or straighten it, change it. But I do feel like there's something missing there. I don't honestly feel like you can completely, wholeheartedly appreciate and love yourself if you don't appreciate and love your hair.
And that's what I was going to say, because your hair should be a representation of you, of how you feel. So when I see the same multiple hairstyles and then you look at the attributes of the people that wear the hairstyles, I feel like the identity of who self is missing. You know, so you know that's how we say we don't judge. That's how I judge my women. That's how I judge them. Your hair speaks. Your hair says a lot for you. I feel women. That's the stuff I pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah.
Nails. I feel no nails is a confident thing. Nail, but it's like all the things that a woman wears is an attribute that speaks for them. Like if their eyelashes is way out here, they can't see me on radio, man, but my eyelashes is flying. When they have them long, like it's a representation of something. And you want to fit into a box of what everybody's doing. Is that something you really feel? Because then I see some, it doesn't fit them. I see some hairstyles that I feel don't fit you. You know, and I feel that that's where the identity comes in. So do you, when they come into your chair, do you say, hey, this will look right on you, or this fits you, or how do you go by knowing them, their personality? If they say, hey, Shana, hook me up, do you fit it for how you know them or how you perceive them? If they don't know, how does that work?
If I already know what they like, if they've sat in my chair multiple times, then I'll go toward, you know. Okay. But I try to, less is more is the way I manage myself. Okay. And so I try to kind of force feed them that on the low. Right. Like if they tell me they wanted, you know, a whole lot of extension, if I'm doing twists, because, you know, normally I'm doing natural locks anyway. Right. But if I'm doing twists and they say they want big, jumbo, fat ones, I'll do the first one a little slim and say, how you like that? Okay. You know what I mean? But if they're not okay with that, then of course I'm going to give them, because they have to be okay with what they see in the mirror. Right. Whether it's a natural look or not, how you look and how you feel about the way you look is going to help you to have a good day. Yeah. Okay. So that's important.
It's very weavable.
Thank goodness I don't do a lot of weaves, though. You know.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness!
I just had to. Was that good? Was that good?
No. I feel like you worked hard on that.
Yeah,
I was trying to think.
It was very politically correct, but it was just still like.
I didn't know if it fit, so I was like, I'm gonna just throw it out there. That's very believable.
Very believable.
We'll take it.
So,
oh my goodness.
ManeClass. How did that name come about?
Because you know the mane is like thick, long hair.
Okay.
and I know us to have lots of density, so that was important to me. And then class was always a big thing for me. I think class is important, whether it's you're being taught,
right,
or just the way you carry yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the other name we had? First Natural.
And you had the texture celebration.
Yes, texture celebration.
Celebrate our texture.
Absolutely.
Like our girls have to understand that they need to celebrate their texture, because there are people out here who may condemn them for it, but behind closed doors they're trying to figure out how to achieve it.
And listen,
so
them others be always trying to have different hairstyles that you got from the sisters, and they be like,
and call it something different.
And then, they call it something different, and be yes, the others. I said the others. Damn it, I'm not going back up. Yes, the others. They be trying to steal styles.
Right,
like you said earlier, they be trying to steal everything we do, and then try to flip it and be like, well, it's this.
Right.
They be like, it's not that.
No, we recognize that.
Listen, my sister's been getting them since they was little.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
my
what
daughter
happens.
get them now. Stop
so
playing.
Is all hair salvageable? Like, or you seen some, like, how does that work? Like, because I see do some hair stop growing?
Yeah, it does. Like normally,
mine does. So.
I ain't talking about yours.
Normally, if you start to see like a shine, if your scalp just has like a natural smooth shine, 9 times out of 10, the roots are dead.
Wait, what? Wait, how you
Roots
see
are dead in my head, then, boy, because I seen a smooth shine. That is. Thank you for telling me that. I thought I had a chance, but it's over.
Is that in men and women?
Men and women.
Oh,
because normally, even if you
start shining on top of your forehead? I need to know where you see the shine at. I'm looking at scalps
anywhere you used to grow hair. Because, like, for example, if you shave your armpits, like, there's no hair there, but it doesn't have, like, that shine, that smooth shine. Yeah. But once it has, like, that glassy shine,
it's over.
It might be over.
It's over.
What?
I can speak from experience. It's over.
Did yours start shining?
Yeah, the barber told me to stop coming back. That's how bad it was. He was like, I was trying to get a tip. He said, "Don't." He said, "Listen, bro, you spending your money for no reason."
He told you stop coming back.
You shouldn't even come back. I said, "You don't even want my money."
Why is he like
I was like, "Dang, I would have at least kept getting the money."
Yo.
He just told me to stop.
He's a dope barber, though.
Yeah, I respect it. I just start
because there are a lot of folks out here who would just take your money.
Yeah,
So do you? I mean, because I know that's probably. I mean, I got my hair, fellas. I mean, so is that hard to Is that hard to tell a woman like you got that shine?
And it not be the good shine.
Yeah. What do you say? Like, how do you break that to them? 'Cause I feel like that's something that would be so devastating to hear. I used to ask my barber, "Yo, am I cool up there?" Like, he was like, "Yeah." I always ask because I just be like, I'm gonna ask because I don't want you cutting it too low if I'm not cool. But then I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair out. I can grow hair. So
right. Like I said before, 82% of my clientele has locks. Okay. So our conversation is not necessarily that it's not growing back. It's more of we should start talking about cutting your locks off. Okay. And that is difficult for a lot of them.
Cutting them off fully?
Completely.
Really? Okay.
Hanging by a thread.
Some of them do.
Hanging by a dread.
Yeah.
This guy's on the roll today.
Did you write that down?
No, listen, he is on the roll today.
That was good. One dread.
I love the way he looks to you for confirmation. Like, is that a good one?
Listen, I'm like, he's on the roll. He is on the roll.
That was better. That one was better than the first one.
Yes, that one was good.
I give you that.
Man.
Eating up.
Yeah, I give you that.
Oh, my goodness. So how do you break that to them? Like,
they don't always take it well, excuse me, but the thing to keep in mind for anybody who's listening, if you have locks and you start to get a lot of breakage in the root, cut it then. Because if you wait until they fall out, then you're probably taking the root with it. So that means no low clipper cuts. That means it's gone now. So you don't want to wait until the damage is irreversible.
So if you can get to it before, so it's reversible, so you can get in there.
Right. If it's just breakage, that could be from the weight. And of course, like, as we age, your hair just isn't as strong anymore, right? So if you cut it off before, like, the entire space where that lock has detached, then you can still get a low clipper cut and see some color there, you know what I mean? And, like, take down the rest to that low part. But if you wait until they're falling out, then you won't have anything to even attach a lock to.
So what do you do after you cut them, take them out? What do they rock then?
I tell them that it's time to get a clipper cut. Wow. Yeah.
That's a big adjustment.
Yeah. Or for some women, I try to encourage them to just go shorter.
Okay.
To cut the length down, the weight down, because a lot of times that length brings on a lot of weight, and creates early breakage and hair loss. So those are the conversations we had.
What is the most, like, I've seen some different, like, people who like they joint was super matted. Do you have to deal with that, or like, and how long does it take to? Don't laugh, man. I'm trying to ask a question. For real, I'm just because I see it and I'm like, I sit and watch the videos. I'm like, this is interesting, and that looks like a lot of work.
Yes.
Well, I personally don't deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm really, really big on cleanliness. Like, my clients have to help me keep their locks clean because it's not a one-person job. If I'm talking to you about your locks and I'm like, when's the last time you shampooed and you can't remember, I'm probably not the stylist for you because locks hold a lot of dirt and that creates mold. And then on top of that, if people have to rip and pop locks apart that haven't been cleaned in forever, now that's flying all over my salon. Yeah, I'm like, cut it off and I'll start you fresh.
They be looking like that joint off the bud trees. It be looking real. I see them doing.
But some people, in all fairness, are experiencing depression and things like that, and they don't tend to themselves, and that can happen. But I don't manage that. I just tell them that if you want to come to me, we'll have to cut them off and start over.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're high class.
ManeClass.
This is high class too. No, so you don't deal with anybody.
Absolutely. ManeClass or high class.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's also healthier.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to get all that dirt out of a lock. There's just no way. I don't care how many.
Like that, I mean, your money ain't right when they gotta come to you. They ain't coming to you right.
Listen, your money better be right the way I seen them videos.
Right, but I'm saying,
them is a couple of $100,000s the way them things be looking. I was like, oh my goodness.
But once you pay that, you be like, I gotta take care of my hair.
But still, some of them won't. Some of them will go right back to. It's okay for another year, 4 years now because that's what they're used to.
Oh, wow.
You have to remember there are some people who don't take hygiene serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not going to change now because they have locks. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
that's a lot of. I'd be like, when it gets wet, it gets heavy.
It does. Yep.
So, yeah.
And you can create mold, and then it's picking up the lint, like from clothing and stuff. So you have to shampoo them on a regular basis, as you would loose hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have? I mean, she ain't telling on y'all, so we don't know you. But do you have people come with mold under their locks?
I've had some clients with mold in their locks, but they didn't even know.
Right. What does that look like?
Discolored.
Like mold. It look like mold.
Yeah.
I know that don't be itching.
Well, see, it's usually not in the root close enough to itch, right? It's down in the lock that has already grown.
So they might not even know.
They might not know. And it's easy. Now, you don't have to be...
You smell it?
It can be smelly. But it's not... Like my clients, I don't go through that with my clients because my clients are clean and they know. You know, but... if you're shampooing on a regular basis, you won't necessarily have like a crazy odor. Okay. You know what I mean? It'll just be like, like if you've been sweating, you need to, it's not nothing crazy.
Wash yourself.
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right, we're going to get off the dirty people. not the dirty people, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all not dirty.
Just wrong.
I don't know, we are. I'm so sorry. Give us something that people may not know about you.
I'm super goofy. Like if I could just be laughing all day, I would do that.
I feel you. I feel you. 100%.
And just by looking at me, a lot of people think I'm really serious, but when I'm comfortable, I'm super goofy.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
People be thinking I'm mean. I'm like, I ain't mean.
They think you mean?
I'm a damn teddy bear. Because I be like...
If somebody asked me, I would say you were right in the middle. Just from working with you, like taking photos and stuff. Yeah.
So the salon, so we had ManeClass came first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did the idea come about? What was next?
Texture celebration.
Texture celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So did that come right after you started ManeClass?
Well, the Texture Celebration Workshop is working on its 3rd year.
Okay.
And my salon is working on its 6th year.
So
and Cream of the Crop is working on its 1st year.
Okay.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
Okay. So do you got the curriculum? Are you writing it, or are you just
I
going
do.
by?
Yep.
Okay.
I prepare a curriculum just because you have to keep their attention.
Okay.
You have to have something to do for them because they'll end up doing cartwheels on the floor and telling you about what happened at school. Even though I give them time for that too.
Yes.
Right.
I give them time to get things off their chest. But yeah, you have to keep them focused.
So so that's a big thing too. So how do you go about writing the curriculum?
What I've been doing with Cream of the Crop is just picking up where I saw we left off, what they need.
Okay.
Excuse me, like enunciation was a big thing for my girls. Like they were able to follow through the word, but they weren't pronouncing it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll know next time we're going to do, because the Cream of the Crop workshop is 2 hours long.
Okay.
So when I see that there's a need for something, I'll say we're going to do maybe about 45 minutes of just that.
Okay.
So I let the previous class tell me what to do with the next class.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
I love that. That's dope because our kids need it.
They
They
do.
definitely need it.
And
And for you to pour into them like that is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you tell them what product? You said you do tell them what to stay away from.
Right. My Texture Celebration girls,
Okay.
I help them to identify alcohol products in the products that they buy, or alcohol ingredients in the products they buy, because they put that alcohol word in so many different versions of it, so that you won't even recognize it if you're not, educated. So I help them to identify the ingredients in the products, because our hair dries out so fast. Okay. So using alcohol just creates a lot of unnecessary damage.
Right. Did you study that real deeply?
I did.
To learn that?
Yep. So of course I went to beauty school, but
Okay.
You have to do a lot of your own research. When you go to Empire is just focused on hair color and non-textured hair, and sanitation.
Okay.
So everything outside of that you have to have a passion for and figure it out. You know what I mean?
So are you just, I like to ask this, do every day you feel like showing up, or there's some days you just don't feel like doing it?
Which one?
The just going to work, your business, you're an entrepreneur, so like.
Well,
I mean, I know you got to show up because you got to do the bill, but like, I'm talking about, is it, you wake up in the morning I wake up in the morning with a passion to come here. I don't hesitate to get out of the bed and be like, oh, I gotta go in there today. No, I don't say that.
Right.
I haven't said that for years. I don't even think I ever said it.
That's
So
dope.
like, I love what I do. I get up in the morning, my feet swing, I'm ready to go. So unless I got a hangover from last night, like, if something like that happened. That's very, but when that happens, I'll be in here. I still be in here asleep, but I still show up. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm up 5 a.m. every single day.
I know, and that's something I admire about you.
Yeah, I'm up every day.
And you're always enthusiastic about what you're doing.
Yes.
And you don't find that.
Yeah, because I'm not going to do it if I can't give it 110. So.
And people know. They can feel it when you're not.
Yeah.
But, I do have my days where I would rather stay in bed all day.
Okay.
I won't lie. When I first started my salon, my first appointment was set for 11 a.m. because I wasn't getting up before 10. Especially coming from starting at 7:30 and 8 a.m. for the Commonwealth. It was like the first thing we're doing is we're sleeping.
Right. We're going to reclaim our sleep.
Right. So I do have those days in. And another thing that my workshops have done for me is break that monotony up.
Okay.
And it gives me time to deal with those really refreshing personalities of children, because they're so real.
Yeah.
And they're silly too. And they say things crazy off the top of their head that have us really in our my workshop cracking up. You know what I mean? So that breaks up the monotony for me. But also, even if I'm not necessarily in the mood, once I get into the salon and I start doing the hair and my music is going, because I always got my music going, I'm there and I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know they love, because I know people love, like, we love hands in our hair.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a part of their recovery or their feel goods, because they're getting a word from you, they're getting encouragement, and they're coming out new. You know, when your hair's going to feel new. So you helping people to become new, become a new person.
Yeah, and that's what I really went into it for, like the transformation.
Yes.
Watching people come in one way and leave out another, you know.
Yes.
That was big for me.
That's dope. That's dope. Did you answer that already?
No.
If there was one thing that you can give advice, what would you tell someone that's starting out on anything? What, if you can give them some advice, what would it be?
Like starting their own business?
Yeah. Or even if it's not a business, or even if they're about to start out for something.
Just going to do something.
What would you tell them?
To just be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times we're always willing to give grace. When you're a grace giver, you give it to everybody, you know. And I think that we forget that it's important to give ourselves grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forgive yourself. Be patient with yourself. Understand that everything is a learning process, and you'll get better.
So let me ask you this too: How did you face things going wrong? Because, you know, in business, or things might go wrong. How was that for you? How was the adjustment for that?
Prayer.
Prayer.
It works. It works.
I going into my business was like a real eye opener for me, because I came from a place of making this amount of money every week, and, you know, I could have sick days and I'm still making that money.
Yeah.
I can go on vacation and I'm still making that money. So that was like, I already knew going into it that that's what would happen. But when you experience it, it's a different thing. Yeah. So for me, it was just like, but we here though, we're in it and we're not coming out of it. So now we just hustle. You know what I mean? And me and my God, man, we got really close.
Okay. So what is it, like adjustment where did you have to scale back financially or do things or change the perspective of how you did things? Was that easy?
It was a matter of proving myself to my clientele. Staying late nights, not leaving the salon till 2 a.m. because my prices were so low. I had to put this much work in. You know what I mean? But like I said, dealing with different aspects of business because I went to college and working as an employee with the Commonwealth for 11 years, I know that money will come in. You know what I mean? It'll come in. You just have to figure out the little tips and the tricks. You know what I mean? Right. And then once it does, then you're available to live in the passion then. So that's what I saw at the end of the tunnel. Like it's all right, we're gonna hustle, we're gonna grind, and then now we in the passion now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay? You can't say, I can't do this, man. I'm busy. I'm broke.
Right.
Holla at me in a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's dope. So what are some unique skills that you had to have to become successful?
I like it.
I think, and I don't want to offend anyone.
Offend them. We ain't worried about them. I mean, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. But offend them.
Hold on. Let me drink some water.
Okay. You're about to be offended. I'm sorry.
You gotta take a sip of water before she offends you.
I feel like in the city that I was doing advanced lock maintenance before a lot of other stylists were. And I think I got known for that. Like oh, you know how to do that? I didn't know anybody around here could do that.
Right.
And I think that's what kept my clientele coming to me for advanced lock work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, I thought you was going to offend somebody.
Well, you know,
Was
a
that
lot
it?
of...
Yeah, I'm about to say, hey,
But see,
Oh.
y'all got off easy.
They know the
Y'all
deal.
got off
I'm
easy.
empathetic, you know, I'm a real
You know the
empath,
deal.
so...
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, in
I'll
the
be walking around like this.
You see these
They can't see my
hands?
hand. I have my...
These hands is $1 billion hands.
What?
You know the type,
Listen.
main class, high class hands.
Do
Your
you
little
get-
dirty,
do you go
filthy
get- do
hands.
you go get your
No.
hands massaged? You-
I do it myself. But
Really?
I saw, but this was in another state though on Instagram. I saw that there was an actual place where stylists would go get like intense
Right.
hand massages and like soaps and things. And I'm like, ooh, I wish we had one.
See, like they got paper towels.
Yeah.
In this bag.
For real.
No blower, no hands.
No
Yeah.
way.
I know
Oh
that's
my
right.
goodness.
That's what's
Yep.
up, though. I'm proud of you. I am.
I appreciate
I'm proud
that.
of you,
Yes.
and I see your work. I see everything that you're doing. I see what you stand for.
Mm-hmm.
I see what your heart is made out of, and it's love. And
Mm-hmm.
anyone that finds any void in what you charge or how you move, they just ain't winning.
Right.
Yeah, that's real.
So I winners see winners, like, and it's so you know, that's what it is. And you see those things, and it's just not. It's in the word. It's in the language. You know, we can put pictures out there, but it's in the language, and the language tells you what a person is and who they are and where they're headed. So I definitely,
I received that.
I definitely
I appreciate it.
see what it is, because they can see the locks, you see how dope it is, but then they get to see what comes behind that,
Right.
and that's what matters.
Right.
So you know, you want to sit at the table with blessed people. You want, like my barber, he's the kind of guy, he in real estate, he does so many things. I am happy to have this man, because he just cuts hair because that's what he loves to do. Like, he has so many avenues of income, and it's like, I can sit here and get my hair cut by somebody that's way above me, but he still sits to cut my hair. So I definitely appreciate that, and I know that people gotta appreciate you and what you do, what you have built. You moving from there and moving to a new location, like, they see that, because that's all for them too. You know? So I never been in the salon, but I heard great and wonderful things about it, and the atmosphere says that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely a blessing. You were a blessing in my daughter's life, and that's something she'll never forget. You know, because you.
And she was a blessing to me too. The girls are definitely a blessing to me. Like, I need them. The way they need what I'm pouring into them is the way that I need them.
That was definitely a question. Like, I just wanted, what do you get from it? Because I know you you don't just give. You give to give, but you also receive something from giving. So what do you receive from that?
The break in the monotony of just doing hair all the time.
Right.
And just fueling our girls, feeding into our girls, helping them to make better decisions. Because I know that being beautiful is not just about what you see in the mirror.
Right.
It's like, if you don't believe in your beauty, the way that you'll let other people treat you,
Absolutely.
and the awful decisions that you make for yourself, like, those things are just right on your heels if you aren't paying attention, you know?
Yes.
And I just know that, like, just how great we are, that if they were more confident, boys and girls, that they would make better decisions for themselves. And I think too that the media really has robbed us as boys and as adults, girls and as adult women, of like a good healthy path in life. Right,
you know? Absolutely.
Like, we have just been bogged down with burden after burden after burden, and they lose themselves in that. They lose themselves in their worth in that. You know what I mean? So I want to see us do better, and I know that confidence is what helped me to just be lighter on my feet. Confidence is what helped me to be better to people.
Absolutely.
You know, confidence is what helped me to cut people out my life. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I want to see our adults, more of our adults, grow into that instead of like not being good to each other, or bashing each other, or not helping to build each other up, sharing what you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So That's why I do it. I want to see our kids be great.
Okay.
That's an awesome reason.
Yeah.
Awesome reason. So tell the people where they can find you.
Yes.
My website is www.allthingsmaneclass.com. And of course, I'm in Strawberry Square. I'm a part of Strawberry Square, but I have a street level entrance, so my entrance is still on North 3rd Street.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook as ManeClass page, ManeClass page, and then I'm on Instagram as ManeClass Salon.
Okay.
Make sure you have a follower on
Yeah.
all of those.
Yeah, follow me.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, brother.
This has been a great interview.
Yes, it was.
We appreciate you
I
coming
appreciate
through.
you.
I'm glad you came. I'm telling you, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I told you when I seen you the other day, I was like, we gonna want to know everything.
I know, and I was nervous.
Know that. You was like, everything. I was like, everything.
Yeah.
And you came through and you lit it up. So we appreciate you.
I'm
Truly.
appreciative that you guys invited me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
appreciate
I'm
you.
very grateful for the opportunity, for your platform.
Yes.
Because I've learned things from people that have come here.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, things about people that I've brushed shoulders with, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, because I think sometimes, too, people don't put themselves out there enough.
Yeah, right.
So you can brush shoulders with folks and don't even know all the stuff they got going on. So, yeah, this platform is awesome. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have poured into me, too.
Lit. Let's go. Yeah, I wanted to bounce, too. But that's what I'm talking about.
I'm Drake.
Yeah. All right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
we out.
We thank y'all for tuning in to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yeah.
It's your boy, BP, I'm sorry, along with the Bishop, and we'd like to thank Shana Robertha again for coming through and chopping it up with us.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure y'all check us out on YouTube, Spotify,
Anchor.
Apple Podcasts,
Everything.
Google Podcasts, everything.
I want to thank our Apple listeners, y'all rock.
Shout out to the Apple listeners. Let's go. Keep listening.
Yes.
Hey, quit the gap.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace. Peace to the gang, peace of gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast.